Welcome back. This section should be the final section that we're going to do today on color mixing. And this will go a lot quicker. So here we have our worksheet in front of us. And I alluded to the fact that we're going to fill in these color names just like on our notes. And so you should have your notes still with you so that you can look at those if you need. Now, on the solid triangle points, in those sections, we have written red, yellow, and blue. And I should mention, use a ballpoint pen, or if you're using pencil, press fairly hard. Now, halfway in between those sections, we have a dashed triangle that has points. So at the point in between each one, we're going to take our primary plus our primary and add our secondary. So between yellow and red, we know we have orange. And between red and blue, we have violet. And please use that word violet for this worksheet. And then between yellow and blue, we have green. And then between, we're going to add our tertiaries. And our tertiaries, again, or intermediates, are just the two names hyphenated. Now, for the sake of this worksheet, it doesn't matter which one comes first, just don't forget the hyphen. So between blue and green is blue-green. Please spell the whole thing out. Between violet and blue is violet-blue, or blue-violet. Red, violet. Orange, red, orange, yellow, and yellow, green. All right, so we need our watercolor, handy dandy watercolor ready to go. I've got some water, some extra paper towel because it's always a little bit messy. I need a medium-sized brush, which should be already in your brand new watercolors. I cleaned off my palette just a bit for mixing. We're just going to start with pure pigment on our primaries. And so I got to add a little bit of water because these have dried out over the school year, over the summer, or they might be brand new. So add a little bit of water. You want quite a bit of pigment because you've got to fill this whole section in. And you're going to paint this whole thing starting at the edge, going right to the corner. So if you go out just a little bit, no big deal. Hopefully you're not using a massive brush because that won't do you any favors. You want to be able to paint inside that block. Now, don't be tempted to use the secondary paint that is already in your tray because that's a no-no. I'm going to know if you use this orange because this orange is not going to look like the orange that you're going to mix, which is important to know. Some cases I don't mind if you use the pre-mixed secondaries, but for this particular assignment, do not use your secondary colors. We're only going to use our primary colors on this whole page. Now I have a little bit of green that has gotten into that yellow paint. I'm going to avoid that section. Sometimes I'll just run it underwater, get that off of there. Okay, so I'm going to fill in my yellow. And I apologize because our light in this room, they're warm fluorescents, but they're still fluorescents. And that means the color is not quite as true as what I would love, as in real life, or if you were under the sun. Your best color is always outside or under tungsten lighting. But a warm bulb is actually not too bad if you're going to do fluorescent, which is what we have here. Now notice I have enough water in my paint that I can still read the hue name. That's important. So you want to be able to read, I want to be able to read your sheet. So add enough water that you can see through it. If you can't see through it, you're using too much paint or pigment. This is watercolor for a reason. You got to use a lot of water. Okay. Also, don't have it so light that it's hard to see at all. You'll get kind of a feel for that. You got to saturate it a little bit. All right, so now we have our primary colors. We're going to mix the rest. Now just beware, my green is going to be a little bit ugly. It's not going to be the same bright green that you see up in the tray. Don't be tempted by that. It's just for this assignment. You can use this green later on, but just for this assignment, I want you to see the true green. Okay, so I'll start with that section. So yellow, always start with the lighter value color first. So lighter is yellow. Yellow is always lighter. So add just a little bit of blue in. And you can see that went dark really quick. So if it's 50-50, I'm going to put that right in the middle. Oops, don't be tempted. I'm tempted, but I didn't want to do that. Oh, and then I got a little bit of yellow in my blue already. I'm going to use that as my blue-green. See how dark that is? Geez, a little bit of that yellow really changes that quite a bit, doesn't it? Okay, so again, kind of 50-50 right there. That's the middle. It's nice. I mean, it's a very natural looking green, leaf green, but it's not your super bright Easter egg. I call it Easter egg because I always think about dyeing eggs with my parents and that super saturated bright green that is almost neon. It's not that color. Okay. So you can see if you do it right, it should be fairly gradual, fairly. Just do the best you can. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you get this done and you're like, oh, that does not look right, like maybe my brush picked up a little bit of purple, just add a box to the outside. You can always do another one next to the original and just cross it off. And you can just tell me, this is shabble, that one's bad. I tried it again out here and that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to do lots of red. Rinse. I always rinse my brush and my water in between touching my primaries because I don't want to pick up that red when I'm touching my yellow here. I got my yellow next to it in some open space, little bit of red. Boom. That goes really quick, doesn't it? So that's my yellow orange, or orange yellow. Again, pull in just a little bit, bring it over here. That's my orange red. You just want it a little different from the previous step. Okay, and then pick that up and then go back over here. That's about 50-50. That's my normal orange right in the middle. Okay, look, we're already almost done. Okay, last section. Finding a new spot. Add my red over here, a little bit more. Rinse my brush. There's my blue next to it. So again, red's lighter than blue. So I'm going to clean my brush and I'm just going to pick up just a little bit of this blue into the red. Just take it a little bit down. That's my red violet. Now I'm getting low on pigment. If I want to let that dry and do another coat, I can. That's what happens a little bit with watercolor when you add more water. That's okay. More blue. Just pick up a little bit of this. Oh, that went dark. Okay. I'm going to do that for my blue violet because that's more blue than violet is. It's really almost all the way to blue. Okay, and then I'm just going to add a little bit more here of the red because I've become desaturated. I have too much water in there. Okay. I'm going to pick up, rinse my brush, pick up more red. Ooh, there we go. It's kind of right in between. That's good. It's really 50-50. There we go. It's a lot of fun doing that wheel. I've done this a million times, but it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna let it dry. I'll take a picture and add it so that you can see it. That's the whole thing. Now, you're wondering what's going on at the bottom here. I can just use the paint I have already in my palette. So for violet and yellow, that's going to give me a gray brown because those are complementary colors. All I have to do, take my yellow. It's going to be weird. I'm going to pick up my violet and add it to it. It's going to give me a gray or a brown or a, this is kind of like a sandy color, and that's all right. Rinse my brush. Red and green, those are our holiday colors. People always remember that. If I want to now use my secondary color, just for the sake of mixing my complements, I can do that. Pick up some of my green, pick up some of my red, 50-50. It's really a nice kind of gray, stormy gray. We'll paint that in there. It's a good one.
All right, sorry about that. I lost my vocal there, so I'm going to do a voiceover. You can see my video just cut out. Maybe my internet glitched. So I already did my yellow plus violet to make that kind of sandy blondie tone. And then I took my red and added a little green to get a nice gray. And then I'm taking my orange from my palette and adding just a teensy bit of blue, which is darker, so just a little bit of that. And it's going to give me nice, warm brown. So if you're painting a landscape and you need like a tree brown that is really natural, or stone color or dirt color, that's a good tone right there. So brown with a little bit of blue. That's also your foundation for doing a skin tone right there. So filling in that box, that looks really good. So now you've got the complete wheel, looking for all the names, hyphenated name, intermediates or tertiaries. You've got your three complementary grays or browns at the bottom of the page, and don't forget your name and hour at the top. So that should be everything we're looking for in that worksheet. Take a nice photograph of that when it's dry. The tones will cure and become a little bit truer after it's a bit dry. And also you're going to take a picture of your completed notes and upload those. I'm going to look for both the JPEG or PIC of your notes page, and again of this color wheel page. All right, thank you. If you have any questions, just email me, carrie.shabold@ovidlc.org. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.